Hey y'all! Today I want to talk about our big move from LA to South Africa. I've been wanting to make this video for a while and today is the day! We moved from LA to South Africa in November of 2020, and how we even got to that point is for another video, but for this one I'll just talk about our experience and our preparation leading up to it. So our flight was November 2020, and the biggest challenge was trying to figure out how we empty a full apartment's worth of stuff and narrow it down to 12 suitcases. The hardest part was letting go of things that had sentimental value. There were things that my parents had bought us, or things of Neil's that had a lot of memories and emotional attachment to it. We actually considered perhaps getting a container, and that way we can just load all of our stuff, even furniture, and then have it shipped to South Africa. But then we realized a lot of the stuff we owned was secondhand. It would make more sense just to repurchase everything once we got to South Africa. Although looking back, I think it would have been worth it to ship those main things that had sentimental value, because if you think about it, you're moving to a completely new country. It would actually help the transition if I had a few things that was familiar to me. Actually, we managed to bring this cup. This is my favorite cup, by the way. And something just so small like this actually makes a big difference. Somehow we managed to narrow everything down to 12 suitcases and one picture that Hannes' uncle had painted of Neil's, which by the way was so stressful. When Hannes' parents came to visit us, right, they brought over this beautiful canvas painting of Neil's, and then they went to go get it framed. When the time came to move, we had to figure out, how are we gonna even transport this painting? Hannes' dad even mentioned maybe you can cut the frame in half and then we can have now two pieces and then put it in a suitcase. When we get to South Africa, we can glue it together. I don't know, it was crazy. Somehow we managed to figure it all out. So we had our 12 suitcases and our painting. We get to LAX. Thankfully, we had two dear friends who were helping us push all our luggage and just wait with us. Qatar Airways or Airlines, I can't remember, they required us to present a negative COVID test when we checked in at the airport. I did make a video of that documenting our experience, so you guys can check that out. But we had to present it when we got to the airport. When we were at the check-in counter, they weighed all our suitcases and all our check-ins were fine. But our carry-ons, I didn't think they would check the weight, and guess what? It was overweight. The thing is, we had stuffed our carry-on bags because we were thinking they're not gonna check the weight, right? Wrong. So now we're there and we're having to take out items. We gave it to our friends. Please hold on to this for us. Somehow we'll come back and fetch it one day. The airline check-in counter lady, she says, your flight time is approaching. I'm afraid you're gonna miss your flight because you still have to get through security. So I'm just gonna give you a free check-in. So let's just get you going. We check in all the things. We have our 3 suitcases. We say goodbye to our friends and we're rushing towards security. The benefit of traveling or moving during COVID is that pretty much the airports are quite empty. Security is super quick. The planes are half full, even less than half full. The airline gave us face shields, which they told us we have to keep on at all times, but actually it was really for the takeoff and the landing. Everything in between, because you have to eat, people are sleeping, they weren't too strict about that, so that was great. The flight to Qatar, it went a lot better than I thought.
We inform that smoking and the use of electronic cigarettes is not permitted anywhere on board this aircraft. Keep your personal valuables such as wallets, jewelry, and electronic devices safe at all times. As we consider.
Initially, I was nervous about Neil's. Is he gonna rest? Is he gonna be okay? So I bought him all these toys and books and things to keep him busy. But you know what he did? Actually, he just watched movies the whole time. Eventually, he got tired and then he went to sleep. So we were so surprised and so thankful. I think our flight took off around 4 in the afternoon. So eventually it hit the bedtime. So Neil's got sleepy and was able to sleep. The thing is, when we arrived in Qatar, you know, all the time difference, everything, you're just kind of all like messed up. We got to the airport. Hannes and I, we had actually booked a room at the airport hotel, which by the way, don't judge us. At this point, we're just desperate to make a very smooth trip and actually to just enjoy it. It's not every day that you get to move across the world. So we just wanted to take it easy and make it as comfortable as possible. When we got to the airport hotel, it was so nice.
new home for a few hours.
Ah, thank you.
The guy takes us to our room. So we just got into our room at the Oryx Hotel and we're so happy that we got this room. We had a long flight. It was 15 hours. I think I slept maybe 5 hours on the plane and Hannes slept. How many hours did you sleep, you think, babe? I think Hannes slept maybe 2 hours on the plane, so. At least Neil slept well. So, but we're gonna try and get some rest here too. So nice just to be able to relax, sleep comfortably, take a shower, and yeah, that was very nice. So all three of us slept. But when we woke up, we just walked around to the airport a little bit, and then we made our way over to our next flight to Johannesburg. This flight was a little bit more rough. Niels was already by this point he's just out of it, right? It's just a lot for a little 3-year-old child. So on the flight, it took him a lot longer to fall asleep, but thankfully because we had the whole row, we were able to lay him down and put like blankets over it to make it as dark as possible. And you guys, Qatar is the best airline to fly with. And the food from LAX to Qatar was amazing. I almost felt as if they had a personal chef on the flight. I mean, that's how good it was. So I was expecting the food to be amazing again from Qatar to Johannesburg. But unfortunately, it wasn't. I actually didn't eat it, I don't think, and I don't think Niels ate it either. But then he got hungry. So he was hungry, so he couldn't fall asleep. And for the first flight from LAX to Qatar, I had packed a lot of snacks and fruits. But by this point, I think I had just one avocado in my bag. So I fed that to Niels, and I think it kind of filled his tummy a little bit, and then he was able to sleep. By the time the flight was landing in Johannesburg, Niels was already out, and so we had to wake him up, and he was not happy. He was just so tired, so groggy. We went through customs, we picked up our bags, and Hannes' dad was at the airport to greet us. We've been in South Africa for about almost a year now. Can you believe it? It will be a year in November. And it's been quite an experience, a journey, which I will talk about in another video where I will share my thoughts of how I really feel about living in South Africa, even how somebody adjusts to a new country, starting a new life, even as an American, because I have to say it's difficult for an American to move abroad because life in the US is just so convenient. It's so easy. South Africa and a lot of other places in the world, not that convenient, not that efficient. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye. Where are we going, Niels?